From Outcast to OP, another improv story by none other than me. Alright, I've been wanting to do one of these um, stupid stories that gets popped up everywhere that's basically the same bullcrap flavored over. One of the things I get irritated about when I've. But anyway, and for some reason I've always wanted to do one of these stories, so here I go. The story starts out a boy that is 17 years old meeting a girl from a alright, well off family. They start to treat her nice, they start to fall in love. They decide to get married. Well, the father of the protagonist forbid it, which he never he told the girl that his family was a bunch of poor people that never really had that much of anything for her. Well, and he was too embarrassed to bring them around, which is actually quite the opposite. He was wanting to make sure that the woman actually loved him for who he was and not his money. Which, of course, her family took great issue with because they thought he was just this big buff dude that had no family, no connections, nothing. But his dad made it clear if you move ahead with marrying this low cat, low caste trash, that you'll be ousted from not only all proceeds of his company that, but he'd be ousted from business in general. That nobody would pick him up. Nobody would allow him to have a job in that city whatsoever because everybody was afraid of. He said, "Fine, nope, I'm out." There's more than life than prestige and money, Dad. Can't believe you're like this. You'll thank me one day, son. Well, not your son anymore. You just kicked me out. Continuing to marry the woman of my dreams. And his dad proceeded to call security and literally throw him out the building. Threw glass and everything. Cut up his face a little bit. In the full 9 yards. He was pissed. Well, he continued along with the marriage. And his father did not lie. He couldn't get a job at the local McDonald's. Everybody turned him down. Eventually, he had to be a security guard at his own wife's family company, which went over as well as to be his wife, now wife, was beautiful. He was a American. She was a Japanese Barbie doll. I mean, that way she looked would make Barbie dolls. It's a shame. And he loved her. He did everything he could to make her life better in every way, including learning business law, including making sure he was like the fittest out of everybody, making sure that the house that he lived in was spotless. Shit that he never had to do his entire life. He was putting down effort like nobody's business. 5 years went by with everything going out like this. He's studying to the background, giving his wife pointers and stuff from even though he couldn't get a job other than a simple security guard. He started taking some martial arts classes and stuff at this time. Well, I mean, it basically, if he was a woman, he'd have been like the most amazing wife ever. But he was a man, and because of that, his her family started getting into his wife's head. Could have any rich guy in the city, and started trying to push different super rich bachelors on over and over again, and she started getting resentful, knowing 100% how much she would, how much he was helping her, how much he put in, how much he actually wrote a lot of dossiers and stuff for her, how much he personally investigated things for her. I mean, this guy flew all the way around the world to investigate shit to make sure that she had the best of best. When I mean he was did everything in his power, I mean he did everything. But because he didn't put in any money in the house, she gradually grown resentful. Mainly because of her parents, all these her friends, all saying, "Oh, he's a worthless fucking bum because he can't even get a fucking simple job at the McDonald's. The only job he has now, he had to beg his own family to let him have." No one mentioning to her that he was actually blacklisted from nearly having a life to begin with. So one day, just had enough. Didn't stand it anymore. She brought the papers to him and was like, I want a divorce. Lied, and she lied and said she already started cheating out on him, and his world fell apart. He loved this woman. He did everything in his power. He sacrificed so much to be with the woman of his dreams. It crushed him. But with his pride, he signed the papers and said, let's not wait. Let's go to court now. And she obliged. But she was kind of taken aback that he didn't even fight, that he didn't really care. That's her own reasoning. Fine. Well, got to the courthouse and he looked at him like, you are the woman of my dreams. You are the woman I married. You're the woman I've wanted. I am not going to beg you. I understand because of my circumstances that you've been putting most on family, but I've been doing everything in my power to make you happy. It's like, but that isn't enough. How can you be a provider? How can you want this? How could you want all this? And for what? Lazing around the house? You work at one of our companies. You've gotten turned down from McDonald's for not, Christ's sakes. If something happened to my job tomorrow, we'd literally be thrown out on the streets. Your incompetence knows no bounds. A man's supposed to take care of his wife, not the other way around. Looked at her one last time. What you truly want. Yes, she said with a scowl on her face. Grabbed the paper and marched off. Tears running down his face. Walked into the building. He wiped off all the tears. Got it. Filed the paperwork. You guys are officially divorced. Went to go give him a card to give him a bunch of money so he'd be able to live at least a little bit. But when she turned around to give him the card, after around in her purse for a second, he was gone. She looked around for him. She even he took off, man. As soon as he signed the papers, like, is this all we needed? Yes, and he took off. But he did want me to give you this letter. She opened up the letter. Says basically says, I'm sorry. I could not be what you wanted. I still love you with every deep part of my soul, but if what I do for you ain't enough, I understand. If you're reading this, that means I'm gone. I'm gone. I don't want none of your money and never did. Wanted you. You were the light of my life. Loved you more than anything. Did this to me. I understand. In her eyes, I was just another wasted space in your life. And no, I did everything I possibly could. I know I couldn't get a job, and that was more my family's doing anything. A family that I never wanted to talk about and never will. Sorry, that wasn't good enough for you. And here on out, you never have to worry about it again. And he got up and I'll figure out something to do. Well, word got back to his original family, thinking that he was going to be coming home. His mother was ecstatic because she'd be able to finally get to meet, or finally not meet, but finally be able to talk to their baby boy again. Father forbade everybody from talking to him. That he'd eventually come back. Even his dad was stubborn ass dad was ecstatic to actually see him again. I mean, he loved his kid. He did all this in his mind to actually prove to his kid that he deserved better, that he was better. He knew all the work he did for this family. He knew all the work that he did for all the people around him and the company. Yeah, if it wasn't for him, that company would have failed 10 times over again. And when they finally heard about the divorce, they thought that he was coming back. And then he heard a phone ring, picked it up, and he greeted the person on the line. Is like, we have a problem. A problem? What's wrong? Your boy is not coming back to the family. Excuse me? Met up with him shortly after him literally living under a bridge, washing up in Lake Michigan, or not like the lake. His father's eyes went wide, and, well, after he got dressed, he talked for a minute. Um, says, um, since he finally got rid of that woman, or that woman showed you exactly what her true colors were, you should come back to the family now. And why didn't he come? Why the fuck was he living on? You blacklisted him from being able to get even a job at McDonald's around here. What the fuck do you think? The only job he could get. But then he looked. You did what? My boy was sleeping under. Yes, yeah, he was for around a month, from my understanding. But that's not even the worst thing. After he heard what I said, he got super pissed off. Excuse me? Super pissed off. Why? What? And proceeded to, yeah, he knocked my ass out. Huh? And he went to the one place that don't really have much to no influence at all. He went to accept an offer at the Outcast mercenary group. What? Father X. What? How does he even? He's known about them for a while. He's actually been training with one of low key under for a while now. And his friend found out that he was living under a fucking bridge. He decided to give him a job, knowing how much of a combatant he was already. When I said that he kicked my ass, I didn't let him. I had full intentions of whooping that boy's ass, dragging him back here if necessary. But he whooped my ass like nobody's business. He's been training every moment that he could, apparently, with this. Just found out who was training him. It was codename Thunder. His eyes went wide. Are you sure? Oh, fuck. Can't believe it. Wait, he accepted him? Yes, he did. Alright. You could hear the his mom scream at his dad. For a small summary of pretty much the aftermath of this, of everything that happened, because he joined this outcast group, he went dead. Nobody could find him. I mean, he went through hellish training. But for that, um, we'll find out here in a second. To him accidentally finding out a secret that he shouldn't have of a small movement his master taught him. But that here in a second. Um, so his mom damn near divorced her dad over all this. Was so pissed off. I mean, it was unbelievable. Fallout of this nearly destroyed them. The fact that there was no contact, nobody, even with his massive resources, could find them. They finally made up, but under very strange. He had to stop a lot of stuff to please his wife enough. And he was hurting too. He lost his baby boy, man that was supposed to take over his business. But he threw it all away for a piece of ass that threw him out. He wanted to destroy her, but his wife wouldn't let her, stating that my boy was to come back whatsoever and find out that we had a hand throwing his ex-wife. We don't know exactly what the fallout would be. Yes, could be in our favor, but on again, it very well might destroy us all, no matter what. She, as soon as they found her boy, they were bringing him back into the family, no matter what. And basically, the general, they never stopped looking for his, their kid, and for real messed him up, messed both of them up, because at the end of the day, they almost thought he was dead. Never stopped generally looking, even putting out about $5 million a month, finding out where he was. To the point where I never stopped. All right, back to his wife, or his ex-wife now. A few days after the divorce, she was all uppity, happy that she finally let off the burden. But then it hit her like a ton of fucking bricks. She woke up that morning, find not there anymore. She started crying uncontrollably. Uncontrollably. Made the worst mistake of my life. How did I let how? Why? She started actually realizing what the fuck she done. And she literally could not get out of bed. Boss called and asking if she was alright, but no answer. Friends finally come over. Few friends from her work came over, figure out what's going on, and she wouldn't talk to anybody. She barricaded for nearly a week. She came out of that room finally, and all of her tears dried. Her mom came, oh, daughter, and like the next, before she got out another word, punched her square in the face with everything she had. Her father came out, how fucking dare. She blew the fuck up. And I mean, she blew the fuck up. I mean, she blew the fuck up. How dare I? You ruined the best thing I had in my life because you kept putting your bullshit into my head. Love enough? Shit, he tried more than any other person I have ever known to make me happy. And I was blind to it by because of your guys' bullshit. And because I knew that no matter how bad I treated him, he was still there. And you, motherfuckers, my friends, all you motherfuckers, took him away from me because of your poison. You kept on drilling into my head that he was a worthless scum, even though he was flying halfway across the world to do any sort of research to give me any sort of game. He was working, trying to easily funds, even if it's just so he could buy me a fucking present. Take me out. He was one of the best investigators in our fucking company. But we never even gave him that position. He just did it. Free. And we treat him like this? Shit, where would our company even fucking be right now if it wasn't for him? For the advice that he gave. Shit, he was studying business. Like mad dog fucking crazy. So he could give me any boon or any help whatsoever. In some ways, he is even more competent than me. I run a multi-million dollar fucking company that brought our company to this heights. Half the fucking money that we make, and how much money are we gonna have to spend on fucking housekeepers? Because with working a job, with running all the way across the world, he still found time to make sure I ate the fucking best food ever. His cooking skills could land him a fucking job next to some of the greatest chefs on the fucking planet. I went to a 5-star fucking restaurant. His food was a million times fucking better than anything I ate there. And you know how he was when he first got here. He couldn't cook his way out of a fucking paper basket. Because of you fuckers putting this toxic, mindless bullshit in my head, I started resenting him. I started hating him. I started treating him more as a fucking tool than my own fucking husband. I destroyed the best person in my life, the one person that would have done anything. I would have actually told him to kill somebody. I honestly think that that person will no longer have breath. If I would have asked him to find this or to find that or to do this or that, regardless of the cost to himself, he would have done it without a second thought. But he was worthless. He couldn't make any money. He couldn't be a fucking man. Worthless my fucking ass. But I believed you. And now I'm divorced from the single best thing in my fucking life. Not to mention the emotional support he gave me. And I had a bad day at work, or when a fucking CEO thought he could just waltz in and take everything that's mine and to get in my fucking pants. He stood by me. He heard me complain. Shit, he even found ways to get around their bullshit. But you're toxic. She just stood there and said, I'm moving out. I'll send you the money for this house is paid off. Done. Dad. She looked back. She's like, don't question me again. Or I will remove myself from this family. And beyond all your bullshit, I know how much you love me. And I know what you were doing was your eyes trying to protect me. But fuck you. They have ruined me. This day on, I'm done with the bullshit. And she walked out of her parents' house and literally bought her a small home to live in. And she devoted every last second to her business. Friends that she had, she fucking got rid of. Her co-workers that were friends, all of them, she done away with them. She was business all the time, 100% of the time. Did what she had to, and she brought their company up to new heights. And then it went from she stopped caring about everybody and everything. The only thing she cared about is her job and her business. She even started being known around the business world as the Stone Cold Killer. She was ruthless. She didn't date anybody. She wouldn't touch anybody. I mean, she did have her flings and stuff, but literally just to satisfy her needs and on. More like a business arrangement than anything. She was done. About 6 months later, she found out, started getting a little belly and not realizing why. Finally went to the doctor. It's like, I have all this bloating and I'm not sure why. I haven't had a miss. Just got back from your test. So pregnant, ma'am. Um, what? You are pregnant, ma'am. Um, it can't be. Yes, you are 3 months pregnant, ma'am. Her eyes went wide, soft smile. Well, and basically, long story short, she started taking care of her kid alone. Became a ruthless business tycoon, and upgraded her business from millions to billions. Uh, the person she cared about in that world is her kid. Well, I'm sorry to our OP, our player, our main protagonist of this story. After he left that business office, he didn't go back to get any of his stuff. He didn't want it. It's all paid for by her money in his eyes. And he loved her. He loved her more than anything. Walk just started walking. So he finally to a store and sold most of the clothes on his back. Bought some super cheap stuff and went down by the river. Picked him out a state where a lot of homeless people were and started living there for almost a week till his old butler came by and tried to convince him to go back to the family, which enraged our protagonist to no high end. How dare they? I have no family. That day, he took the last of his money, got his last name changed, make sure he had nothing to do with that family again. His old friend, mentor, and master came by with a job offer where he found out where he was. And he went for it. He took the job, got blindfolded, and sent him to a secret location. Walked out of the place where he finally, for a red land? What's that, a dome? Deep breaths, ground on the field, big training area, lots of buildings. What the fuck am I? Or his master came out. Sorry to do this to you. I told you the risk and everything, but training begins now. Next thing you know, knocked back out in a chair. Started torturing him for days. See where his will was at, but he never broke, not once. Even his name, something so mundane it wasn't even funny. Gave him a potion at the end of the week. He's like, "You passed." What? He said, shakingly until the potion started taking effect of his body. He started feeling better. What is the Outcast group and what are they doing? The Outcast group is a mercenary group that is not bound to just here. What? We are on Mars. What? On first part of your training movements. Good luck, soldier. Need it. The next year was pure hell. Trained in so many different landscapes, from weapons to combat to dealing with cultivators or dealing with magic users, dealing with super technology. A year went by in a flash, training harder than anyone. On his time off, he trained every waking second. The next year, he trained. Scars building and going, his, building his mind, his body. But he needed to find a way to build his soul. Willpower was great. He finally asked his teacher, he's like, "You show me something to help build a resistance." Seriously, the only thing that can really affect me is something that is quite vital to living past a year. He looked at him and he's like, "I'm not supposed to teach you this," but he pulled out a single paper and gave it to him. Like, read this, study the movements here, and it'll help give you a small guard against that, at least enough to be able to fight, especially with your willpower. What he gave him was a failed cultivation technique, but it would build up to his soul to the point where he would stop aging this quickly and start being better, but he wouldn't gain any real power from it. This is where his teacher fucked up. This guy was a genius beyond geniuses. He put something forth. He did it without fury. He first read the techniques. Instead of forcing his way through, he started feeling the energy, totally understanding the concept of what he needed to do, totally understanding the concept of he needed to bump his way up. He was a madman on a mission to get better. But he didn't understand the paper. Why would this be? Seems like this is so inefficient. Wouldn't it be better if I did this? He started making channels throughout his blood, having this channel of power going even all the way up through his brain, all the way down his arms, one in his heart. And he started to remember like old cultivation stories he used to love reading whenever he did have a free second. He trained. He realized something. He tore up paper, threw it away, and started doing his own thing. Did something that should have been possible. He developed 5 cores, and inside each core developed a 5 core nexus. Just by the beginning stages of a failed cultivation, ended up giving him a supreme advantage. Another 4 years went by. He was tough as nails before he finally made his first breakthrough with all of his cores all at once. The world looked like it shattered around him. Shattered around him. He finally broke through. But then something happened because of the place that he was at. Something happened and it blew his mind. Destroying small space on a alien planet. His old teacher rushed to him to find out if he was okay. Realize just what the hell actually happened. He looked at him and was like, how? How did you become a cultivator? You gave me the tools, even though what you gave me was inefficient. And he explained to him exactly what he did. He was like, that's not humanly possible. He looked at, put his head on his hand on his head, and just froze. He was gonna break his cultivation a little bit, but he stopped, knowing he didn't have the power to break his cultivation. It became so ingrained into his body. Like, how many days did you suffer? More than you want to know. More than you want to know. Said quietly. Picked him up. Like, it's time to go on a mission. Let's go. He was 27 years old at this time. Next time you really hear from our protagonist, he's 30 years old. He spent 3 years. He's 31 years old. He spent 3 years in hell, gaining his reputation of being a supreme being. No joke. When I mean this guy was a badass, He was a badass beyond badasses. He was the man, myth, and most definitely, he was a legend. He had power, not just because he was a demigod power cultivator, or at least that's what people called him. He had power because he was like, he fought harder than anybody else. He protected more shit. If it wasn't for him, the entire human race would have been wiped out on multiple occasions by threats that the human race could not even fathom. And when I mean when he finally was done for a while, no one questioned him because he hasn't had a day off since he joined him. He was either training, studying, or on a mission. Never bought anything. So he decided to go buy him a little place where he used to live, see what he can find, see how everybody else was. Only to get home, to get a phone call. Hello? 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 Who is this? Why are you using my old wife's number? You're him. I need your help. What? My mommy. My mommy's been kidnapped. And they're coming after me too. She told him that. Please help me. You're who I think you are. You're who I hope you are. Please help us. Where are you, you little brat? I'll make you show fear. And I find you. And I will find you. Here a couple shots in the air. Come out to play. She quietly told the address, shut off her phone. The next thing you hear is a door obliterating. The wood chips turning so microscopically small, it looked like there was just a mist, a brown mist. This dude turned around with his weapon pointed and got one shut off before the man grabbed the bullet midair and threw it back at the dude's skull. And as soon as it entered, because of the force behind the throw, it blew the entire back of the mop of this dude's head straight off his body. From here on back, just like a red mist. Next guy, his head just flew here before he even knew he was. Ran upstairs to find this old disgusting guy with claws on his hands. I found you, you little bitch. Now you're mine. I want to rip you apart, show you what it means for wasting my time. The dude had already got to cut off her clothes, mixing years of trash. The rage in our protagonist boiled to the point where when he hit him so hard that his body started evaporating in the air of red mist. The very blood bones started evaporating. He went and hugged the girl. Are you okay, Miss? He looked up at him. Same eyes she saw in the mirror 1,000 times over. And finally said, I have no doubt you are my daddy. We need to save mommy.